Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Start by telling me anything that you would want someone hearing our interview to know about you. It doesn't matter. Anything that you want to share about yourself besides your name, you can share.
Are you recording right now?
Yes.
Stop it real quick. Do you want me to share anything about myself?
Yes.
What do you want me to share?
Anything that you want to share, but yeah, I want you to share as much as you want to share.
I'm saying, what do you feel like you want me to share though?
I don't care. I don't have anything in mind.
I don't know what to share though. Like,
Well, maybe you'll think of stuff later. You don't have to share anything. You don't have anything specific.
my name.
Any stories that like stick out to you from that experience, like things that you remember really well, or things that you think describe the experience well?
Well, I ain't really got no bad stories. I mean, the bad thing was I was locked up, but I ain't really had no bad stories. I would say the stories I got, like, when you in there, you got to make the best out of it. You got to make what you can out of it. You got to make it to where it's like you got to make the best of your situation, even though you're locked up and you really can't do much. It's a different world. It's a different world when you locked up. Like, it's still a lot going on when you locked up. Like a story, like it went. All right, boom. We could talk through the events to other cells, like so. Probably like every night we would get up there and just talk, like, and we would just talk about what we was gonna do when we came home, or if somebody could rap on the block, we would get up there and tell them to rap for us, like just to so we could hear some music or something. You feel me?
Yeah.
It wasn't like we would just get up there and talk all the time and laugh and stuff like. It's a game called for.
It's okay. Well, he can, if he decides he wants to answer any of the questions, he can answer too. Either one, it's okay.
I'm listening for now. I might answer though.
But I think that you may know other people that you can kind of speak into this question a little bit. So what kind of resources did you have access to during the time that you were incarcerated? Were there any opportunities to access education, which we talked about, the book cart, so that's one. Were there therapists in the institution that you were in? Were there counselors? Was there anybody for you guys to confide into or talk to besides each other and obviously your phone calls? Was there anybody put in place as a resource to all of the inmates?
Well, I ain't have no resources because I was locked up in the county jail, but in the prison system, I got a brother that's locked up, and they have a case manager or caseworker, and they have resources like a job, education, and stuff like that, of that nature. So, and they have resources for like GED programs and college courses too. But they got more resources in different prison systems. Yeah, like they will put you in a halfway house. You come home, or they will help you find a job. That's what your caseworker will do. But I didn't have the resources when I was locked up or incarcerated.
That's fine. What would you consider your outlet, like quote-unquote outlet, at the time that you were incarcerated? Like, how did you help time pass, and how did you cope with the experience? Like you said that it was very draining, not knowing when you were going to get out. So what did you do to cope with that? Like, did you write it down? Did you talk to your cellmate? Did you call people? Like, did you keep it all to yourself? Like, what did you do?
The way I helped cope was to not think about the outside world more. I just talked to the cells next to me, the people in the cells next to me, and we just passed time through that. We were just laughing, playing, not playing so much, but just laughing, telling jokes. And we had somebody who knew that rap on the cell block, so we were just having him rap for us.
Would he just like make his own thing up every day, or would you all be like, "Do you know this song? Do you know this song? Do you know this song?"
He made his old songs, so we had him. I mean, the songs he made was good, so we liked listening to it. So we had him rap for us, or we just sat up there and talk most of the time.
Do you think that they knew? I mean, I'm sure they did. That you guys were talking through the vents.
Yeah, and they see me stand on the toilet a couple times.
And would they say anything?
They would tell me to get down, but once they left out the block, I'll get right back up there.
So just to be able to talk to the vent, you had to stand up on the toilet the whole time?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And you said that you like played cards whenever could you and your cellmate did you guys have a deck of cards in your cell, or you could only play cards whenever you got the 2 hours?
In order for you to get cards, you have to order them with your canteen, like with your canteen list. But he had cards, but it was a certain time we couldn't order nothing like that. We got restricted. We got write-ups. We got restricted from ordering stuff, so we couldn't order too much
so
other stuff.
Was that a punishment, or was that just something that was going on in the particular jail that you were in, or like what was?
That was more so a punishment for stupid things like extra book in the cell, or
like an extra book to read.
Yeah, like you can only have at the time you can only have like 3 books, and we had 3 books apiece, and I had 4. I had 4 books to myself, so they took all my books, or we made up chessboards. We made chessboards we had a notepad off the cardboard. We made chessboards with, and they wrote me up for having contraband. They took the chessboard, so you can't have that. And the way we play chess in there is like with the chessboard, we put numbers on it. So when we're playing with somebody in a different cell, we would call out the numbers.
Oh, so you would play chess from cell to cell?
Yeah.
Cut it out.
And they had their own. We made our own game pieces and stuff. And I had the person I was playing with chess pieces on mine that I made, and we had a whole set of chess pieces that we made from the toilet paper.
What?
And we would just move them as they called out the number, so we know that's how we would keep up with the moves that they were making. But they took the chessboard into pieces and wrote us up for that. They done wrote us up for rip sheets.
Rip sheets. So had you guys purposely ripped them?
The one I got came ripped, but they wrote me up anyway. They wrote me up for extra pen, extra like stuff that went on the receipt from the canteen list, like an extra deodorant stick. They wrote me up for extra deodorant stick, extra soap bar, like stuff that wasn't on my receipt from what I ordered. They wrote me up for it, said it was contraband, I couldn't have it, and they would take your canteen, like you wouldn't be able to you'd be restricted to order your food and stuff, like order like snacks and stuff like chips and noodles and stuff. and it would take for like, sometimes it'd be like, depending on how many times you got rolled up, the first time be 14 days. So you would have to wait 14 days, then the extra 7 for it to come. So it'd be like 21 days in total. You wouldn't be able to order. So I got rolled up multiple times. So it would be like a whole 60. It'd be like a whole 30 days before I could order again.
Jesus. Okay. So you kind of answered this at the beginning, but the next question is, how did these experiences change the way that you knew yourself or the way that you saw yourself before, during, and after? And you talked about how it changed your perspective on the world. So, I mean, if you don't feel like you need to re-answer that question, we had already kind of talked about this.
Well, like I said before, it made me realize that you got to have more money put up. And move smarter. And that I don't want to be in that situation again.
Hold on, I'm about to switch screens and go to my paper. So on one of the resources that I have in the paper that I sent you, it says that this is a list of psychological effects of incarceration from research that has already been done. And this is the list, okay, in full. And you can just tell me if you think that you experienced any of these or that you would consider any of these like characteristics of your own self and experience. So I'm going to say them and then you can just say back to me yes or no. So this is the full list of psychological effects from asp.hhs.gov. The first one is dependence on institutional structure.
No.
Psychological distancing, like distancing yourself from other people.
No.
Social withdrawal.
No.
Isolation.
No.
Incorporation of exploitative norms. So that means incorporating like defense mechanisms into your daily life, like incorporating means to handle violence at any time or conflict at any time.
Yes.
Diminished sense of self-worth, and this can be before, during, or after your experience.
Can you rephrase that question?
Yeah, so a diminished sense of self-worth means that you contemplated or thought or felt at a certain time that you were just in a low place. Like you just didn't feel great about yourself. About your life, about where you were at, who you were, any of those things. You questioned it at some point during or after.
Yes.
Diminished sense of personal value. So that's kind of the same thing as self-worth, but in a way.
Personal value don't go down. The personal value doesn't go down.
Do you feel that people treated you as if your personal value is less? Not that you thought that. Okay. And the last one on the list is post-traumatic stress reactions. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you're saying you have post-traumatic stress disorder, which is maybe a little more forward and permanent. But this means that you react differently to certain Did you notice changes in yourself during or after your incarceration? In your personality? Yes. Okay, so like, were these changes in your personality and the way that you interact with people? What kind of changes, if you feel like you can describe them?
Change how I interact with people.
Okay.
I'm more cautious.
Okay. Cautious because...
interacting with people got me incarcerated.
Can you describe the experience of being released? What was it like for you visiting and interacting with people once you had been let out? So this can be like seeing someone that you had been wanting to see, or interacting with new people after you got out.
It was breathtaking. Walking out them doors it was like a gasp of air. Not seeing the outside.
So you hadn't been outside at all?
No. Haven't seen the sun or nothing outside. I was underground, basically. No windows, nothing. It was like a gasp of air, of fresh air. And seeing the people I haven't seen in months, it was a very happy experience. Or it was.
Did you feel, whenever you started going like out into public again, did you feel different? Like, were you aware of things that you weren't aware of before?
Yeah. Took a lot of shit for granted. Yeah.
What did he say?
Took a lot for granted. I took a lot for granted, but the experience was different. Being able to shower when you want to, eat when you want to, sleep and wake up, go outside when you want to, being able to wash your clothes when you want to. It's just the little things, that you do every day that you wouldn't be able to do.
What immediate challenges did you face after being released? So this is like within the first few days or weeks, or, within the first few months. Like, was there anything that was hard mentally or in the outside world that was hard? Like, was it hard to get a job? Was it hard to be alone?
It was harder to get a job with them charges on the background, being a convicted felon. It was more harder to get a job, so I would say the challenges I faced was financially. And the ways I was thinking was the challenge I faced was, the hardest challenge of all was to not go back.
Was it hard to be by yourself after you were released? Like you said, you had a cellmate the whole time. You said whenever you woke up and you looked down, he was right there. So did you have, like, lowness whenever you were by yourself?
No, it was actually better to be alone sometimes. But, like I said, I only had a cellmate because he was there. If it was my choice, I didn't want to have a cellmate. But it wasn't hard to be by myself. I don't know. When I had a cellmate, that was something I had to adapt to. But if I was by myself when I got out, it was never a problem. It wasn't hard to be by myself. It was actually better.
What challenges do you still encounter internally or externally that you feel like you can attribute to being incarcerated?
Staying free is the biggest challenge.
Do you feel like you have a target on your back now?
Yes.
If you could have made one change to the system that you stayed in, what would it have been?
The time you can come out.
You would have made them longer or different or what?
Longer. Definitely longer. You couldn't come out on the weekends neither. I would definitely be able to come. I would definitely change that. Saturday and Sunday we would be able to come out. But they didn't let us come out on Saturday and Sunday, so that's one of the changes I would have made. If I could.
What is something that you wish and feel you have the right to have had access to that you were kept from? Like, what's something that you were not allowed to do or have or see that you feel like you should have had the right to do or have or see?
I feel like we should have chessboards and more resources. More resources and being able to go outside or something.
What is one thing that you want people to understand or to be aware of about the experience of being incarcerated? Just in general, one thing for someone like me who you know has no experience of any kind like this in my background. What do you want me to understand about it?
That there's a lot of good people that's locked up. That people like you may look at as a bad person or something. Some really good people that's really locked up that don't deserve to be behind the wall.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share?
If you have any other questions.
That was my last one.